The world is in chaos, censorship, the WEF, and mainstream media forgiveness. That is tonight on Kiwi Voice News Rant. While the war that had its beginnings in 2014 in Ukraine, with the USA-backed coup rages on, killing thousands of innocent civilians and soldiers, costing hundreds of billions of dollars in international aid to line the pockets of the military-industrial complex, and serving as a great platform to get into Europe's energy market with the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline, other conflicts are flaring up also. China continues to put Taiwan squarely in its sights, continuing to manoeuvre naval and air craft in the Taiwan Strait in direct provocation, to which Taiwan is responding with patrols and movements of their own. I'm fairly certain that it is a case of when, not if, that China goes ahead and makes its move to claim by force what they have thought is theirs all along. I truly hope that I am wrong. The Syrian war continues to rage and ravage and destroy the Middle East, with water shortages now becoming a major issue for farmers in the northeastern parts of the war-torn country, as Turkish military continue to make things worse for almost everyone in that part of the world. Of course, the US has its part in this, with the SDF, or Syrian Democratic Forces, an American-backed coalition currently controlling 1/4 of Syria's territory, meaning they now dominate over 90% of the oil and over 50% of the gas fields, including infrastructure owned by foreign oil companies that have legitimate contracts signed with the Damascus, that being the Syrian capital government, for their use. But all of this, of course, is for liberating the people and saving democracy. It has nothing to do with fossil fuels or oil profits at all. With all of that spare oil, perhaps they could send some our way here in New Zealand, after our Energy Minister Megan Woods thought around 28 days worth of stockpiled petrol and 21 days worth of diesel was enough to cover for an emergency situation. So is looking to give power to the Commerce Commission to enforce that. I'm sure that if World War III does indeed break out and New Zealand gets cut off from the main shipping routes worldwide, that 28 days will pass and we will be completely fine, because everything will be back to normal.
We'll be fine.
While all of this is going on, it's great to see the focus on the important things here at home. With inflation continuing to ravage the local economy and our PM and Finance Minister doing all the right things to get it under control, our current government's top priorities are to release policy that will decimate New Zealand farming and put upwards of 20% of certain sectors in that farming agricultural area out of business, just to try and reduce some emissions from a country that contributes 0.17% to them globally. That is awesome. Bothered by small rural communities being decimated and food supply shrinking, you may think twice after the ownership and control of your local water infrastructure is handed over to more of these lovely political class types sitting up there in Wellington that live nowhere near you, but I am sure have your best interests at heart when it comes to your water. But as with any type of political institution that has this much of an effect on your daily life, if you don't like how it's being run, you can simply vote those who are running it out and get some fresh ideas in there, right? Oh, sorry, what? You can't? 17% of the population will get 50% of the decision-making rights on these boards? Yeah, no, that seems a little weird. In all seriousness, however, isn't it great that as a concerned citizen, I can use this online platform to voice my critical opinion of the New Zealand government, report on alternative views, and interact with all of you amazing, free-thinking Kiwis, Canadians, Americans, British, and Australians, and every other nationality that watches that I haven't mentioned, without fear of being censored and closed down? Who knows for how long, however, as fresh from declaring to the world through the UN that online words are a weapon of war, and continuing to push hard for online censorship while copping it from every single angle of the alternate media landscape for these comments, PM Jacinda Ardern has recently spoken at the He Whenua Tararakua Hui in Auckland, attended by members of Māori, Pacifica, Jewish, Muslim, Rainbow and other communities, as well as New Zealand's top security officials. According to Rebecca Kitteridge, a Director General of Security along with the PM, stated that mis and disinformation is the current greatest threat to New Zealand, and that they have had to pivot a third of her agency's counter-terrorism staff to focus on anti-establishment threats. So you can rest assured before long we will get to enjoy the benefits of a law enforcement agency spending an inordinate amount of time and money and effort on scanning social media in order to call on and arrest or fine everyday Kiwis for posting things on Facebook that the establishment does not like. Looking forward to that one, but it's just a hooey, I hear you say, to which I would reply, no. Justice Minister Kitty Aaron is pushing through proposed hate speech laws as we speak. What a time to be alive. Worked out well in Australia, it's going super well in the UK, so we look forward to it coming here to little old NZ. The US is having a fair crack at free speech as well, though. They have got it completely sussed with an online portal directly into Facebook and Instagram to enable them to censor whatever the heck they like. That's efficient. Moving right along though to something that has absolutely zero connection with any of these destabilising events that are going on at all. The WEF and the UN with their wonderful Agenda 2030 and Sustainable Development Goals. I love talking about these guys. Cam Slater, a long-time government critic and journalist writer from good old Kiwiland NZ, who is probably more famous for his ties in recent times to the National Party and Judith Collins than for his extensive great journalistic and writing work over the years exposing our own government's corruption, has put out a fantastic piece on the bfd.co.nz, one of our great alternate media news sources that seeks to clarify our PM's relationship with Klaus Schwab, that stunning human and leader of the WEF that looks absolutely nothing at all like a Bond villain.
So if we penetrate the cabinets.
You nutty tin-foil hat-wearing conspiracy theorists out there, this one's for you. How much influence has the WEF really had over this current government's policy movements and implementation over the last few years? Isn't any at all somewhat anti-democratic, or are unelected, power-hungry multi-billionaires advising other countries only ever going to be beneficial for the citizens that inhabit that country? I'm not going to answer all of those questions for you, but I am going to give you a little bit of insight into the first one. As reported by the BFD, Ardern is an alumni member of the WEF's Young Global Leaders. She is listed as such on the Young Global Leaders website. To achieve this status, you have to be recruited by the WEF and go through their 5-year training program. Also on their website, they clearly state that one of the many functions of a member is to spread the ethos of the WEF. Ardern makes no reference to her membership of the Young Global Leaders on any of her profiles on the parliamentary website, the Labour website, or LinkedIn, Wikipedia, or Britannica Online. She has never declared at any point to the New Zealand public she is a member of an organisation that wants to usher in the fourth industrial revolution, wherein there will be a system of stakeholder capitalism in which the corporations will be the trustees for all societies, which will be administered by a one world government, quote. There is an undeclared partnership between the World Economic Forum and Jacinda Ardern. Remember, this is based all on emails received directly from our PM to the Bond villain man himself, released under an Official Information Act request. Good times. Nothing to see here at all. Let's just move on. I just hope they don't get any influence over Canada, France, UK, America, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, Australia. In other news, the New Zealand housing market continues to crash, interest rates continue to go up, and Adrian Orr is reappointed to the head of the Reserve Bank by our PM. Back over to America, where the MSM is having a good old nudge at trying to explain away being an accomplice to some of the biggest en masse human rights violations for no real reason by saying, sorry, let's move on. Admitting school closures along with outdoor areas such as beaches and playground closures were wrong, deriding the debate over the Johnson & Johnson versus Moderna Pfizer vaccines, with mRNA winning out. Then spending the rest of the article pleading with the reader to move on and forgive everything else is an insult to millions of people, but I'm sure no one will say anything. However, I am sure they will eventually come to their senses, cover all the details around all of the failures, hold the powerful to account, and push for some accountability. I'm sure that's going to happen. Thanks everyone for tuning in. That is the KV News Rant for today. Please take some time to comment down below, share these links around, keep sending me the messages and emails with ideas. We very much appreciate it. Appreciate those that have hung around during the break as well. We've got a couple of cool interviews coming up for you. We're getting back into the swing of things. But for now, team, stay safe, stay free. We'll see you again real soon. Stop, dog.